I spoke to 3 African-American men who served as paratroopers during their time in the military. They tell me it's important to tell the story of the Triple Nickles and their service. In 1944, during World War II, white men were trained as paratroopers for the invasion of France. First Sergeant Walter Morris saw these events firsthand.
He would see these white paratroopers training, and he liked the way that they trained, and he said to himself, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Because at the time, there was no such thing as black paratroopers.
When the white paratroopers were done, Morris would take the black soldiers to the same field to do the same exercises, which caught the eye of the base commander.
And he called Sergeant Morris into his office, and Morris knew that he was in trouble. But instead of being in trouble, the commander said, I like that. I'm going to give you permission to keep on doing that.
That led them to starting a black test platoon.
Most black paratroopers in World War II wasn't sent to Europe, but they were sent out on the West Coast to be what they call smoke jumpers. They had to jump into the forest because the Japanese were sending these balloons over and exploding. And that was basically the biggest job and a very hard job. I think that should be known. A lot of people don't know that.
There was a lot of racism, discrimination. They felt that black people couldn't jump out of airplanes. They didn't have the courage to jump out the door. They weren't smart enough to control their parachutes. They didn't know how to land any of that.
Martin Thompson served in the military for 34 years as a paratrooper, retiring as a master sergeant.
They opened the doors so that we could show that Afro-Americans, men and women, could jump out of airplanes and do everything that the service members that were white in World War II did.
Didn't get no history in school, even when I was in the military, or even when I was a paratrooper.
Andrew Boston joined the Army to serve in Vietnam as a paratrooper, never knowing this was made possible by the Triple Nickles until 30 years after he left the Army. He learned about the group from an article in the paper talking about a nationwide organization that pays homage to the Triple Nickles called the 555th Parachute Infantry Association. They have chapters all over the country.
I reached out. It was almost 2 years before I finally decided just to go down and to sign up for the Baltimore chapter.
Andrew also connected with the DC chapter and met some of the original Triple Nickles.
But even at that time, I didn't know how much of an impact like I know to this day that what some of them met. But we had a lot more relaxing atmosphere because they was veterans and I was a veteran, so we could sit down and talk.
Darren Purnell was a paratrooper during his time in the military.
Just standing in the door, jumping out, it was like a rush.
Darren is also a part of the Triple Nickles Baltimore chapter. His goal is to ensure the stories of those who paved the way for others are told for future generations.
Getting or having younger people or younger soldiers to develop understanding of the history and keep it going, that would be our key. Well, that's our objective right now.
In Baltimore County, Jonathan Hunter, WMAR 2 News.